Welcome to Chapter 9, Execution, Getting Things Done with Decision Making, Delegation, and Time Management. Our objectives in Chapter 9 are to explain why it is often difficult to delegate, define the four rights approach to delegation, explain the significance of time management for getting things done, analyze how you use your time, plan how to better use your time, explain work-life balance. We will also explain the significance of effective decision-making to get things done, discuss and apply the decision-making process, explain the critical role of ethics in decision-making, evaluate your decision-making skills, and explain the significance of effective delegation to get things done. A manager who makes effective decisions searches for satisfactory solutions to his own problems, taking into consideration how others are solving theirs. To do this, an effective manager follows a rational decision-making process. There are typically 5 steps in the rational decision-making model. Identifying the problem correctly is essential to management success. What is the issue at hand? The old adage that a problem well defined is a problem half solved applies to this discussion. Correct identification of the problem may generate ideas for solutions. Drucker proposes that asking the wrong questions is a dangerous misstep, and he illustrates this with reference to the medical profession. A physician must come to the proper diagnosis before he or she can approach a patient's problem. He or she needs to examine the patient, listen to what the patient has to say, refer to research about the symptoms, and rule out various disease alternatives before coming to a diagnosis. An effective physician will get the diagnosis right and can then turn to his or her attention towards preventative or curative action. A misdiagnosis may result in an ineffective or even life-threatening outcome. An incorrect identification of the problem leads to inappropriate action, and the problem is not addressed effectively. Examining the alternative solutions to the problem is essential to selecting the best course of action once the problem has been identified. A manager should begin by considering what action has been taken in the past and what actions might be appropriate given the particulars of the problem. Consider a professor who catches a student cheating on an exam. The professor reviews the university's code of ethics and policies on cheating. Alternative solutions for the professor may include giving the student no credit on the exam, giving the student an F for the course, reporting the student's behavior to the university's honor code committee, or pretending nothing happened. Having examined the alternative solutions to the problem and having researched policies regarding the behavior, the professor can now identify the best option. Identifying the best alternative is more than simply selecting one option over another. One should evaluate the possible outcomes of each potential decision. Risk and uncertainty accompany any decision. Implementing the chosen alternative is essential once the best course of action has been determined. And then evaluating the decision and the decision process ensures that the problem was identified correctly and assesses whether the implemented plan addressed the problem appropriately. Communicating effectively is essential in identifying a problem and gathering the facts and relevant information. Avoiding bias is also important. Through the process of socialization, an individual acquires a self-identity and internalizes a cognitive frame of reference for interpersonal relations and a moral conscience. Parents, other family members, teachers, colleagues, bosses, and others play a role in this lifelong process. Recognizing a program decision and being able to differentiate it from a Non-program decision is important for managers approaching a potential problem. Programmed decisions are routine and recurring. Being timely is significant because even the best decisions are not helpful if they are made too late. Timely response to problems is essential to effective decision making. Making assurances one can keep builds trust. A manager may promise pay raises to generate a temporary positive response, even though he does not have the authority to ensure raises will be given. However, promising only what one can deliver develops professional trust based on honesty. Creativity and a rational decision-making process should be supported. Brainstorming alternative solutions to a problem allows for expansion on standard conventional approaches to problem solving. Creative thinking may generate innovative, appropriate solutions. Including an ethical checklist will ensure better decision making. Managers' positions make them more visible and give them higher levels of responsibility in the organization. Therefore, viewing ethics as an essential factor in effective management decisions recognizes that managers should consider their role as one of responsibility. Drucker proposes that managers should observe the ethics of responsibility. It is the manager's responsibility to consider the needs of the stakeholders and of the institution and to decide what is right. Answering the following questions may reaffirm the manager's decision regarding the problem, if he is content with the answers. Have you accurately defined the problem? How would you define the problem if you stood on the other side of the fence? How did this situation occur in the first place? To whom and to what do you give your loyalty as a person and as a member of the corporation? What is your intention in making this decision? How does this intention compare with the probable results? Whom could your decision or action injure? Can you discuss the decision with the affected parties before making the decision? Are you confident that your decision will be as valid over a long period of time as it seems now? Could you discuss without qualm your decision or action to your boss, your CEO, the board of directors, your family, and society as a whole? What is the symbolic potential of your action if understood? What if it's misunderstood? Under what conditions would you allow exceptions to your stance? For a healthcare manager to get things done well, it is essential to develop both decision-making and delegating skills. Delegation can be difficult. As managers assign tasks to others, they potentially lose control over how the task is performed. However, there is a plus side to delegation, as it lets managers demonstrate trust and encourage employees to handle a work assignment. Delegation affects team performance positively as well. And if delegation is handled properly, the manager will now have time to work on another task while the employee to whom the task was delegated can demonstrate his or her skills. Those to whom tasks are delegated have the opportunity to demonstrate their abilities, master new tasks, enhance their leadership and decision-making skills, gain a greater understanding of the work of the department, an organization, network, and experience greater ownership over their work and the work of their colleagues. Understanding the criticality of developing delegation skills is different than managers being able to let go of tasks. This is a sentiment that many leaders share. Delegation is not about finding a way to make employees work harder so managers have to do less. Delegation benefits the delegator and the delegatee. Delegators have more time for other managerial activities. They can focus on doing a few things well rather than too many things poorly. And by delegating, they mentor and prepare employees for their own career advancement, resulting in higher level performance. If work is done and decisions are made at the lowest appropriate level, everyone benefits from faster and more effective decision making. So how does a manager know when he or she needs to delegate tasks? The signs may include the following. You work longer hours than your staff. You take work home regularly. You constantly rush to meet deadlines. You miss deadlines. You do or redo work that has been assigned to your staff. You regularly help with tasks you have delegated to others. And your own top priority items remain undone. You are the only person you can identify as being able to handle the next big project. Your staff has low initiative. You have high turnover among your quote-unquote rising stars. To further determine if you have an issue with delegation, consider the following question. If you had to take an unexpected week off of work, would your initiatives and priorities advance in your absence? If your answer is no, or you are not certain, please review this chapter on delegation. Because delegation should not necessitate surrendering control of the process or of the outcome. Smart delegation is about giving employees the appropriate level of authority to carry out their assigned tasks. At the lowest level, an employee might be asked to look into a problem and report back to the boss, who will then make the decision or take the action. A higher level of authority would involve the employee developing a recommendation, informing the boss about alternatives or pros and cons, and recommending a course of action. Even more authority would allow the employee to develop an action plan for the boss's approval. At the highest level, the boss might pass the authority to take action on to the employee and ask to be kept informed. Effective delegation takes thought, insight, and commitment. One way to simplify delegation is to use the 4 rights approach. The right task, the right person, the right communication, and the right feedback. Before delegating, the manager must accurately assess the work situation and environment. He must know the skills, abilities, interests, and limits of his or her employees. This does not mean that the manager can only delegate a task to someone who already has the skill. Sometimes a delegated task is an excellent opportunity for an employee to stretch and learn something new. The manager must have a grasp of his or her own skills and abilities and must know what responsibilities should pass on to others and what tasks should be completed by him or herself. Be aware of dustbin delegation, which is only delegating unpleasant, boring tasks that the manager simply does not want to do. Delegated tasks should include enjoyable, appealing, and challenging tasks that are assigned according to skill and ability. Along with the healthcare manager's improving decision-making skills and practicing delegation appropriately, time management skills are key to get things done well. We have all heard a myriad of platitudes about time. A stitch in time saves 9, time waits for no one, time is of the essence, timing is everything, do not waste time, for that is the stuff from which life is made. Time is money. Why do some people seem so much better able to manage time than others? It almost seems as though they simply have more time, yet everyone has the exact same amount of time. 60 seconds in every minute, 60 minutes in every hour, 24 hours in every day. One way to approach time is to think of it as a limited resource, a tool to use and control. No one is completely efficient. Everyone wastes some time. The key to time management, however, is to minimize time wasting and maximize productive time use. Books, tools, websites, and technologies are available to help managers do just that. both at work and in their personal lives. One way to analyze your time at work is to prepare a time inventory log. The log should briefly note how you are spending your time at regular intervals, perhaps each hour or half hour during your workday. Choose a week that is typical of your working life, not a week when special tasks or events are planned. And what is it that you should do when you close your door? Management tasks vary not only in their immediate importance, but also in their long-term usefulness. This is called the smaller sooner versus larger longer, the SSLL dilemma. This is a basic conflict between short-term costs and benefits and long-term, perhaps riskier, future payoffs. Research indicates that people often prefer an SS outcome to an LL outcome. Effective time managers need to find the right balance between both while ignoring neither. Your to-do list should be reorganized and reprioritized regularly, perhaps even daily if necessary. Some people prioritize by noting if the tasks are must-do now, important, desirable to do, or can wait. Some people simply number tasks or arrange them by a deadline. There is no one perfect system. The best system is the one that works for you as you get things done. Running a morning dash is an example of a prioritization in action. It involves spending an hour on the most important thing on your to-do list first thing each morning, even before checking your messages or email. Running the dash ensures your most important tasks get started and get at least 1 hour of undivided attention each day. The list of ways to waste time at work is endless. However, there are tips that seem to help most people manage their time more effectively and efficiently. Handle each piece of paper or email only once. Give each piece of paper or email enough time and attention to absorb its message, and then either handle it right now, file it in the appropriate folder so you can handle it or use it later, pass it on to someone else, or simply throw it away or delete it. With the advent of standing desks, try going through email while standing up. It is too easy to waste time reading unimportant materials while sitting down. Standing up gives the task a feeling of urgency and gets a manager through a stack of papers or a backlog of emails more quickly than sitting down to do the task. Manage your technology. Do not let it manage you. Not every phone call, email, tweet, or Facebook post must be accessed immediately or dealt with that very minute. If technology interruptions are your downfall, try looking at your email or answering your phone messages only at 1 or 2 specific times each day. What are your most tempting distractions? Is it answering your cell phone, surfing on the internet, getting a snack, or chatting with coworkers? These are part of work life and you cannot avoid them all the time. However, as you become aware of which one of them is the most likely to lure you away from your work, plan in advance for ways to handle them. Strategies such as only chatting with colleagues at certain times of the day or bringing a snack from home can sometimes help you bypass your most tempting distractions. Points to remember. Rational decision making is important, as a manager makes decisions that are in the best interest of the stakeholders in the workplace. Rational decision making is important as the process may help a manager determine if his or her professional reputation is in jeopardy, and guide him or her to decide whether it is time to take his or her talents, skill, and hard work and go where he or she can get things done. Delegation allows for better productivity for managers, as well as opportunities for employees' professional development. Effective delegation has 4 rights: right task, right person, right communication, and right feedback. Accurate self-assessment of your time management skills and corresponding changes in behavior can improve job performance. Multitasking does not bring about increased efficiencies or effectiveness.